Hey, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steve Rising video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new exotic grenade launcher that comes with Maru, as well as the new artifact set that's also come with Maru with Season 2. And at the very end, we'll also take a look at the talents for Maru, because we kind of actually missed those in the last video. And if you guys haven't checked out the last video where I went over her abilities as well as some gameplay, make sure you check that out as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel in case you guys are ready for some more Destiny Rising content. And now, let's get into it, and first we're gonna start with the exotic weapon. Now here's the new exotic weapon, and one thing that you're immediately gonna notice with this exotic is that it's always spinning, giving it a very cool effect. Just something that I never really seen to this extent on like a Destiny weapon. But this weapon is not just all about looks, because it does have some pretty good exotic perks. And let's start with the very first one, being Clark's armor piercing drill bit. Fires a high velocity slicing projectile that continues slicing the target after directly hitting the target and exploding, dealing multiple instances of damage. This weapon is essentially going to be all about directly impacting the enemy, and just giving you a bit of extra damage, giving you a couple extra explosions, overall just doing some more damage to targets when you're directly impacting them. This is not the only thing that affects it, there's actually a couple others, but let me actually show you the weapon in action first. So here you can see the weapon in first person, and it's really cool. It's just constantly spinning, and then this is how it looks when you fire it. Kind of like opens up, and even when you use fire at the ground, you can see like the damage over time stays in the ground for a bit as the drill, like I guess, drills into the ground. Damage just kind of keeps going after the initial hit, just giving you a bit of extra damage against the target. Let me actually put this up so we can get some energy. And then the whole extra damage kind of works even better once we actually have some of our stacks up. It gives us more damage and some of the extra like explosions when shooting enemies. Now the second perk is going to increase your direct impact damage against elite and stronger combatants, and landing some final blows temporarily increases the weapon's reload speed. This one's a really good one, and it's gonna make this weapon just feel a lot better when fighting some of those elite and stronger combatants. I feel like the grenade launchers kind of struggle against those bigger enemies. I feel like you're just gonna have to hit them a bunch of times, but having a big damage increase just built into the weapon is definitely gonna make this weapon just feel much better. And the reload speed is also really nice. One thing that's good about the reload speed is that it's not just a one-time thing. Like, you don't just get to reload once with the increased reload speed. You get actually 5 seconds after getting a kill with a reload speed, which is very nice. So once we kill this thing, for the next 5 seconds, we have some really nice reload speed. Overall, it just makes this weapon feel like much better, and it feels like it addresses some of the weaknesses that these launchers can sometimes have, where they just didn't really feel like impactful enough against some of those bigger targets. And this plus something like a grenade launcher buff, it's gonna go hard. It's gonna go hard. Oh, okay, the ability did way more damage than I expected. Now for the exotic catalyst, the first one is going to make it so whenever you hit a target directly and the finish is slicing them, it will trigger an explosion that deals 50% of the base damage to the weapon. Again, just kind of improving the single target damage, and if something happens to be close enough to that target, they'll also get damage as well. So it helps you with both add clear and single target damage. The second catalyst band essentially modifies this grenade launcher to just be able to shoot in a straight line, kind of like a rocket launcher. And it also increases again your direct impact damage by 15%. It's going to be a lot easier to hit things once you actually get this, and you get that straight line like grenade launcher shot. It's gonna be so much easier hitting things that are farther away. And the final catalyst essentially improves your first catalyst. It improves the post-cutting explosion to 100% of the blast damage instead of just the base 50 we used to have. Again, just making the weapon more effective against some of those elite targets and just things that take a lot more damage. And that's the grenade launcher, and it feels like it does address pretty much like the biggest complaint I usually have with the grenade launchers, where they're really good at ad clear, but they also really lack any sort of ability to deal with bigger enemies. And it feels like this thing is like set out to still be able to keep all the ad clear that's great about these grenade launchers, but also be able to deal some really good single target damage and just being able to take them down much faster than you can with some other grenade launchers. And now let's take a look at the new artifact set that's coming with Maru. And I will warn you, some of the descriptions for these are a little scuff. Some of them clearly haven't been finished for this build of the game, like this one. So we're gonna try to make the most sense of them. But if there's something that's wrong, or you have a different take on what the artifact actually does, just leave it down in the comments below, and maybe you can like figure something out. So the very first one is Inundated Radiant Variant. Taking over shield, damage I'm assuming, simultaneously will give you damage resistance lasting for 1 second, and repeated acquisitions can stack up to 10 seconds. So it looks like if you have an overshield and you're taking damage, which is probably gonna be most of the time with Maru, you're gonna be gaining some damage resistance that can stack up to 10 seconds. Now my other guess for what this could be is that it could also be whenever you gain overshield, you gain damage resistance, but I think I lean more towards the first one that I talked about, us taking damage with an overshield. I think this could actually work pretty well. I don't know if it's gonna be like the best one on her, but it could definitely be pretty decent. Now the other one is Siphon Radiant Variant. When possessing an overshield, dealing AoE damage to targets converts the original damage to overshield. So this just gives you another way of getting a bunch of overshield. As long as you're doing AoE damage, which, you know, with 2 grenade launchers, we're always doing AoE damage. So this one could definitely work pretty well, and it can give us even more overshield. The next one is Safeguard Radiant Variant, and this one's pretty bad. Whenever you gain an overshield, gives you a damage bonus for set seconds. What is the damage bonus? We're not quite sure. We're not quite sure just yet, but we are going to be getting a damage bonus whenever we get an overshield. I'm guessing this is something that they could change anytime before the release, or maybe it was changed, because I don't think this is like the latest build to the game. This one just has Maru in it. So we'll actually have to wait for the full release before we can see like what the ratio actually is on artifacts like these ones. And the last one is Belligerent Radiation Variant. Whenever you gain an overshield, it once again gives you a damage bonus for the exact same amount of time. So they're both for 6 seconds. There is a chance that it's an error and they, for some reason, just show up as the same thing. So, you know, once again, this in the early access type of phase, all of this is subject to change. And with the artifacts themselves, I definitely think some of these things might change. Especially because some of these in this build don't even seem like done yet. They don't seem finished. And lastly, because we didn't go over these in the previous video, we're going to be taking a look at the talent tree and just seeing the type of things you can expect for getting more copies of Maru. Now the very first one here gives you Annihilation Blast, another charge, so now you have 2 cannonballs you can shoot. This is going to be very nice, and considering how fast you can get them back whenever you're like blocking damage, this is gonna definitely add a lot to her character and just her actual playstyle. I feel like the T1s are always very impactful, and it looks like that's continuing here with Maru. Now for the second one, direct hits with light or heavy grenade launchers, recharge, abyss, engulf, with light grenade launchers providing 5% per hit, and heavy grenade launchers providing 10% per hit. This one's gonna be pretty crazy, and it's gonna make it so you pretty much always have your barrier up whenever you want it, as long as you're doing damage. Any sort of damage that you're doing with your grenade launchers, you're constantly going to be getting back some energy for your barrier, which is already recharging pretty quickly. So you're basically never going to run into any issues with like uptime on the barrier. You're always going to have it up. This third one's going to be a damage increase where resonance is 50% or higher. The number of smaller projected shells ejected after the Annihilation Blast is increased to 6. So overall, you're just going to be doing some more damage, more ad clear with your Annihilation Blast. And since at this point you're going to have 2 of them, this one's going to be pretty nice. The 4th one is going to be able to increase your super damage even farther from the 60 that's capped at to 100% when your resonance is full. The 5th one increases your annihilation blast damage by 20%. And the final one is going to increase the efficiency of Abyss Engulf. Whenever your resonance is full, you're not only going to be getting more overshield faster, but your annihilation blast is also going to be recharging faster whenever you take some damage. Overall, just making her kit even crazier. The T-sets are always super crazy, and this one's also just going to make it so you can spam abilities even more. Essentially, just have all your abilities up whenever you need them. And with that, we're going to end today's video. Once again, just like I did in the previous video, if you guys have anything you guys want to see related to Maru, just make sure you guys leave it in the comments below, and I'll see if I can show you guys that. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.